Right now, I would invite Emily Shetler to come. Many of you know Emily much better than I do. I know there were many who prayed fervently from the time she left for Africa until she came. And so we want to continue in that spirit of prayer right now as she shares of her admission. Let's pray together. Father, I thank you for Emily, and I ask that she would bless her now as she shares of all the things that you are doing in her life. We thank you for her. In Jesus' name, amen.
Okay, well, like Todd said, my name is Emily, and I spent 2 months this summer in Africa, more specifically in Uganda, which if you look up there is one circle, in case you weren't sure where it was. I volunteered with an organization called Empower a Child. Empower a Child was started about 4 years ago by a man named Wilson. He's a Ugandan man, and as a child he was sponsored by Compassion International, and because of that he was able to get an education and make something of himself, and so he decided that he wanted to look for a way to give back to his fellow Ugandans. So he came up with his own organization in which he works with children on an everyday basis. This organization is run year-round by Ugandan volunteers. There's about 10 or 15 of them, some of them who work or volunteer full-time with Empower a Child, and some who have other jobs, so only volunteer part-time, and some who seem to only show up around meal times, but that's okay too. During the summers, it's when it's the busiest, when people from all over America and from Europe and anywhere else can come and spend any length of time they want to volunteering with Empower a Child. Like I said, I went for 2 months. There are some people there who were there for 2 weeks. There are some people there who stayed for up to a year. So it was just a very diverse group of people, and from the time I got there until the time I left, there was only 3 volunteers who were staying from the beginning to the end, just because people come in and go as their schedule fits them. So it made for a very interesting but good experience getting to know many different people from all over the place. So I'm going to start off by telling you a little bit of the background leading up to Uganda, why Uganda, how it all came about. Okay, so, well, I don't know if many of you know this, but I go to Asbury College, which is in Kentucky. And as soon as I started going to Asbury, I got involved with a Sunday night ministry called WGM. Every Sunday night they put on basically like a coffee shop in which different missionaries who are involved with the WGM organization who are home on furlough will come and speak about their living experiences. And I started going to this as soon as I got there as a freshman, and I've gone pretty much every Sunday night since then. And always afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah, that was neat, that was a good experience, but didn't really think too much about it. Except for one time when there was a speaker, her name was Lisa Fish, and she was a teacher from Uganda. And this was back while I was still a freshman. And while she was talking, for whatever reason, something about her message just really stood out to me. And after it was done, I was just like, wow, I need to go to Africa. I need to go to Uganda. I don't know why, but I need to go there, and I want to do it. But I quickly dismissed the idea because in my head, I thought I had 2 options to go on a mission trip to Uganda. Either you can go with your high school youth group, do your fundraisers, all go together for your week-long trip, and, well, obviously I never took a week-long trip to Uganda, so that didn't happen. And I thought in my head the other option would be, after I graduate from college, to just pack up and move over there permanently, and I didn't really want to do that either. So I didn't really think that I would ever have a chance to go to Uganda. But nonetheless, I took her prayer card and I had it on my wall, and for the next couple years, every time I look at it, I just say a quick prayer for her and for her ministry and for the country of Uganda. And didn't really think a whole lot about it other than that until this past fall, my junior year. Another missionary couple, also from Uganda, came, and I had the same feeling when they were speaking again. Just for whatever reason, something about this country just really captured my heart, and I was like, I want to go. And then I just asked myself, like, well, why can't I go? Why can't I just go on my own? Why do I have to wait until, you graduate and go to something permanent? Why can't I just go for a summer? So, well, I don't really know how to do this. So that evening after the program, I went back to my dorm room, I got on my laptop, got on Google, all I did was search short-term mission trips to Uganda, and about a billion different things came up. I'm like, well, how do I decide? So I clicked on the first one, started reading about it. It was this organization called Empower Child. And I was like, well, I like children. Sounds like it would be a good fit for me. So I started reading all about it, and I was just like, yes, I want to do this. I want to go to this one. So I was like, well, I should probably look through some of the other ones. There's probably a lot of other good ones. And so I spent the next couple hours just looking through all the different options, and I didn't like any of the other ones. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with Empower Child. So I turned to my roommate, who also happens to be my best friend. I'm like, hey, Karina, so I think I'm going to go to Africa this summer. She's like, what? I want to go to Africa this summer. I'm like, you do? She's like, yeah, I want to go to Uganda. I'm like, what? No way. Me too. So like, okay, let's go together. She's like, okay. I'm like, I'm serious. I want to go. She's like, me too. I'm like, okay. Well, let's do it. Let's go. So then that night, like always on Sunday nights, I called my mom for our weekly couple-hour chat. And I don't remember exactly how the conversation went, but I know us well enough to give you a fairly good impression of how the conversation probably went. Hey, Mom. So, what would you say if, no, Emily, you can't have a dog? Okay, that's not what I was going to say. Just listen. Okay, so what would you say if I told you that I'm going to go to Africa this summer? What? Yeah, Fran and I are going to go to Africa this summer. Really? So yeah, that's how it started. And I mean, we really wanted to go, but I didn't know if it was actually going to happen. And a lot of stuff occurred between then and now, but as you know, everything worked out. I applied for a grant in my school. Everything was financed. All that was taken care of. Both my roommate and I both got the grants, so everything was all set up. We were both going to go. We were going to go together, and it was going to be great. Turns out that God had other plans. Around Easter time, Karina's father was diagnosed with cancer. Originally, she was still planning on going, but the cancer was very, very advanced, and when she went home for the summer, she just saw how poorly he was doing, and she went back and forth trying to decide if she wanted to go, if she didn't. And it was actually the night before I was supposed to fly down to meet her, and just a few days before I was supposed to leave to go to Uganda, she called me and was like, I can't do it, I can't go, I can't leave my dad. So needless to say, those next few hours were more than a little bit stressful. And I was like, I'm still going to Africa, and well, I'm sure any of you parents know that it would be absolutely terrifying to send your oldest daughter, who's never been out of the country besides Canada, and never been on the airplane before, to fly 27 hours by herself all the way to another country, which doesn't know anyone. But you know, end of the story, I went, so it all worked out. So yeah, I went to Africa by myself, and this is just a view of Uganda. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about Empower Child. Empower Child is involved in many, many different ministries, but they themselves don't own or run any of the ministries. They are involved in a day-to-day basis, helping with volunteering and many different aspects, but they don't run the orphanage, they're running the schools, they just are involved. So that's a little bit